Glenna Bullard was born on August 10, 1979, and she would later go on to have two daughters. Glenna moved to Lincoln, Kansas from Texas with her boyfriend. And in the fall of 2017, Glenna, now 38, told people she was headed to Texas to visit her two daughters. She was headed back for her daughters' birthdays, which are in November, and when she hadn't called home for their birthdays, her family knew that something was wrong. Concerned, her family contacted the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office on November 2, 2017. 3 months later, on February 26, 2018, the Sheriff's Office requested assistance from the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, and Special Agent Crystal Hornseth was assigned to the case. She recovered surveillance from the last week of October, which captured Glenna's last known moments. She'd made a few purchases at the local Dollar General store in Lincoln. She then stopped at a Walmart in Salina. At the time she went missing, Glenna was driving a blue pickup. Later, authorities found the truck, but no Glenna. Agent Hornseth then spoke with Glenna's family in regards to their last communications with her. They stated that Glenna told them she would get a ride with a truck driver back down to Texas, which led Agent Hornseth to believe that something happened to her along the way. But none of them knew who the truck driver was or if he even showed up to pick her up at all. A look into Glenna's financial records showed that she typically drew down her account to nearly zero each month. But since the last time she'd spoken with her family, Glenna had no bank activity. Since her disappearance, authorities have hit a dead end with the investigation. And in August 2022, the KBI brought light to the case again and have included Glenna's pictures in the Kansas Case Code Edition cards, which are playing cards distributed to local prisons in the hopes that someone may recognize her or may know what happened to her. Kansas Bureau of Investigation, or KBI, is asking that anyone with any information regarding the whereabouts or anyone who knows what happened to Glenna Bullard to call the KBI at 1-800-KS-CRIME. Daryl Arnett Smith was born on January 11, 1968. In 2014, he lived in Dunbar, West Virginia, on Stover Road, and at the age of 46, he would vanish. Daryl was a construction worker and would last be seen alive walking home from work on October 1st, 2014, by his older brother Douglas. The following morning, on October 2nd, Daryl called his boss to see if there was any work for the day, but was informed he wouldn't be needed for the day. Daryl then decided to accept the job for a day offer somewhere else, but was never seen or heard from. After several attempts to get in touch with Daryl, his family contacted authorities. Investigators checked Daryl's phone records that indicated he traveled from Dunbar along Interstate 77 to the area of Edens Fork Road in Charleston, West Virginia. However, after reaching this area, his phone had no further activity, and Daryl has never been heard from since. Authorities suspect foul play and believe he is a victim of homicide. The Kanawha County Sheriff's Office is asking that anyone with any information on the whereabouts of Daryl Smith contact them at 304-357-0156 to leave an anonymous tip. Kayleen Marie Young Oling was born on August 6, 1999 to parents Tiffany Young and Jason Oling. Her parents would separate, which led to a split living situation, causing Kayleen to live with her father and stepmother in Wilmington, Pennsylvania, and also with her mother in the Pittsburgh suburb of Etna. On January 9, 2020, 20-year-old Kayleen was spending the evening at a friend's house in Mill Valley, Pennsylvania. But she left her friend's house telling her she was going to meet with her boyfriend, Michael David Mano, to retrieve some belongings, and she was going to return. Her boyfriend, Michael, had an extensive criminal record with charges for theft, arson, criminal solicitation, and statutory rape. On January 10, 2020, at 1:36 a.m., Kayleen texted her mom, Tiffany, to confirm that she would be at her house at 9:30 a.m. to babysit her siblings in the morning. Shortly after texting her mom, Kayleen posted a status on Facebook saying Michael committed a robbery. And within an hour of the post, her account had been deactivated, and any calls made to her phone went straight to voicemail. Kayleen never returned to her friend's home after picking up her belongings, and also never showed up to her mother's home the next morning. Tiffany grew concerned when Kayleen didn't show and filed a missing persons report. They investigated and learned that at the time of her disappearance, Kayleen may have been pregnant, but this couldn't be confirmed as there were no claims on her insurance. Michael was questioned and stated that Kayleen is alive and he has been in touch with her, and he knows of her whereabouts but refuses to say where she is and has since stopped cooperating with law enforcement. After Kayleen's disappearance, Michael sent nude photos of Kayleen taken prior to her disappearance via Facebook to both her father and her 17-year-old sister. On April 27, 2021, Michael was charged with corruption of minors, criminal use of a communication facility, unlawful contact with a minor, and dissemination of sexually explicit material involving minors. He pled not guilty during the preliminary hearing, and a jury trial was set for March 16, 2022, where Michael pled no contest to the charge of corruption to minors and a charge in exchange to drop all of the other charges against him. He received a 6 to 12-month sentence and 1 year of probation, and was told he is not to have any contact with the victim. Michael has never been charged with Kayleen Oling's disappearance, and she remains missing to this day. A $25,000 reward is being offered for anyone with any information pertaining to her whereabouts. So if you or anyone you know have any information regarding the disappearance of Kayleen Marie Oling, please contact at 412-473-1200. Terrence Woods Jr. was born on October 24, 1991, to parents Terrence Woods Sr. and Valerie Woods. Terrence grew up in Capitol Heights, Maryland, and in 2013, he graduated from the University of Maryland. He later moved to London, England for several years to work as a runner and production assistant on several British television shows, including The Voice UK, before returning to Prince George's County, Maryland in 2018. Upon returning, Terrence worked as a television producer, a part of a 12-member crew of a British production company called Raw TV. In early October 2018, the crew traveled to a ghost town in Oro Grande, Idaho, to begin filming on an abandoned mine for the first season of the Discovery Channel television show Gold Rush. On October 2nd, Terrence texted his parents, Valerie and Terrence, at 8:34 p.m., telling them he was coming home on Wednesday, October 10th, because he was cutting his trip short. A few days later, the parents received yet another message, but this time from the company, telling them that their son disappeared and that they, quote, can't find a trace of him. According to the production crew, on the evening of October 5th, 2018, as the shoot wrapped up, Terrence told one of the two women who had been helping the crew transport that he was going to the restroom. Moments after, associate producer Simon G. said he noticed Terrence had dropped his two-way radio. He says the next thing he saw was Terrence running down a steep cliff that led into the woods, where he disappeared into the trees. But due to the late hour of the report, the search for Terrence wouldn't begin until the following day, when search teams made up of dogs, ground searchers, all-terrain vehicles, and helicopter teams with thermal imaging came out to search for him. But only after 6 days, without any trace of Terrence, the search will be called off. According to Terrence Sr. and Valerie, when Simon G. spoke with them, he basically told them that Terrence had already ran 15 feet down the hill by the time they ran to look over the cliff to see where he was after seeing him take off. But his parents don't believe the story. Terrence Sr. told News Channel Fox 5, quote, "My son saw something, heard something he shouldn't have seen or heard, and didn't like it. My son is not in the woods. Someone picked my son up. For what? What's going on? That's what I want to know. My son is not in the woods," end quote. Raw TV flew the couple to Idaho to search for Terrence and distributed flowers throughout the area, but this would be the only assistance the company would provide them. And this strengthened their beliefs that foul play was involved in their son's disappearance. They both believe strongly that Raw TV is hiding the truth about Terrence's disappearance. His mom, Valerie, states, quote, "He was responsible. He wouldn't run away without any good reason unless he was scared," end quote. They also believe that Terrence was the only black crew member on the shoot and may have felt intimidated or was mistreated by his colleagues, which was why he was going to return home to Maryland on October 10th. According to Terrence Sr., on both the phone and when he met Simon at the police department, he said, quote, "I had high expectations for your son, but when I met him, he didn't stand up to them," end quote. They returned to Maryland soon after this meeting, with many unanswered questions about their son's whereabouts. And to this day, Terrence Woods Jr. remains missing. If you or anyone have any information, please contact the Idaho County Sheriff's Office at 208-983-1100.